Welcome to Round the Table with Gratz Park Private Wealth. I'm Sherry Hawley, President and Senior Wealth Advisor. Today is Friday, April 4th. I point that out because on Wednesday, April 2nd, after the stock market had closed, President Trump announced his decision on tariffs. And in response, yesterday's market had the 30th worst day since 1980. The S&P 500, which is a broad index, was down almost 4% for the day. The action we saw was interesting because we sold off quickly and we kind of stayed there for a while before the last hour of trading dipping just a little lower. As we open the markets today, we are down again. The futures are down again about 3%. I want to mention this because obviously we're experiencing a lot of volatility and we are actually now back into correction phase, being down 12% off of our highs. All of this really gets investors worried and uncertain. And what we want to do is just try to put things into perspective. And that is, right now, it's hard to judge where we're going to be 6 months from now, 12 months from now. So what we're going to focus on is the economic data. And as that data comes out over the next few months, we can discern better how we should make adjustments in portfolios given these new tariffs. Today's number was the employment data. We added 228,000 jobs for the month of March, which was well above our forecast. We were only anticipating about 130,000 jobs. So a real positive there. Unemployment rate stayed the same at 4.2%. Now, as we start to go through the next few months, that data is going to change, of course. As companies try to sort through what these tariffs mean to their businesses, their industry, and the overall economy, we will get a little bit more clarity on their forecasting. However, I do think the hope might still be out there that President Trump will continue to negotiate and maybe even roll back some of these tariffs and be a little more strategic. However, that being said, we're going to have to move on the information we have today on these tariffs. Now, as we look forward, what we might still see is a Fed that is going to be much easier with monetary policy. I have said in these videos prior that I was only anticipating 1 rate cut this year. That went to none. And then now it is back to potentially 3 or 4 rate cuts as we expect the economy to really soften with these new tariffs. Higher tariffs are going to mean, obviously a little bit higher inflation perhaps in some areas of our spending, whether it be on groceries, cars, multitude of things that are going to be affected. And so that is going to slow the economy. And with these tariffs, now we're projecting instead of 2% growth, maybe only 1% growth in our economy. And that's why you might hear the Fed today, Jay Powell will be speaking, announce that they are looking to perhaps cut 4 to 5 times this year, which is much more aggressive than we had anticipated entering this year. That being said, we still have deregulation that President Trump is putting in place, which will help with the economy as far as mergers and acquisitions. We have the tax code being addressed. I think President Trump is looking to cut taxes, specifically for corporate taxes from 21% to 15%, which again should boost corporate earnings. And then finally, just what we would continue to see that's been happening, and that's innovation, whether it be AI, technological innovation, which always helps growth for companies and our economy. I'm looking for some of the positives because right now it feels really negative, but I do want investors to know we are certainly monitoring the situation. And if we do see erosion in the economic data and more of the fundamentals, that's when we may look to make adjustments in the portfolio. At this time, I think a lot of this is the market just more knee-jerk reaction, and we have to be very careful in making big decisions while we're going through more emotional reaction to the market and the information than we are the fundamentals. So with that, we will stay in very close touch. I anticipate doing more of these videos over the next few weeks. We are putting some pieces out today. One, I think it's about 3 to 4 pages, but don't let that be that it's just too much information. It's really well written, but it specifically talks about the tariffs and what we're looking to see in those tariffs and what it may mean to the market going forward. It's a really good piece, and I encourage you to take a look at that. But we will be staying in close touch over the next few weeks. With that, thanks for joining me here at Round the Table with Gratz Park Private Wealth.